How many of you came into this life with an instruction manual? Do you ever get really annoyed with yourself when you get triggered by those same old reactions over and over and over again? You feel like you're in that Groundhog Day, just like in a brain loop. I have some good news and some bad news. As a longtime psychotherapist, I see myself as the AAA for my clients. Sometimes they're in complete breakdown. Sometimes they just need a little tune-up. And we work together to get under the hood of their psyche. So the bad news, it's not so easy to repair. The good news, it's easier if you have a roadmap. Still easier said than done. I know that most people really do want to change. They just don't know how. They don't know how to go from anxiety to inner peace, from worry to self-confidence, from self-loathing to self-loving. I didn't always have a map, but through the school of hard knocks and a lifelong commitment to understanding how the patterns that are created in childhood impact us as grown-ups. Again, but I didn't always have the tools. Let me take you back to the beginning. My first job was on an eating disorders unit at the Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. Now, you have to understand, at that time, nobody had ever treated eating disorders before. And my supervisor hands me a chart with the diagnoses of my clients: anxiety disorder, eating disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, borderline personality disorder, alcoholism, drug abuse, you name it. She says, "Don't worry, Tina. Just take this manual," it says alcoholism, "take this marker, cross it out, put eating disorders, and there you go." Well, I don't know about you, but I really like to be effective, and I was so not being effective. I would sit there with these young women who were very skinny, very ill, and at war with themselves and everyone else around them. I would say to them, "I hear you, but I don't feel you." And intuitively, I knew I needed to get below the neck, but I had no clue how to do it. What I did know was that my traditional psychotherapy training was inadequate. They would say things to me like, "My mother criticized me all the time," or "My brother teased me about my weight," or "My father abused me." I would listen with empathy. I'd give them all kinds of suggestions about things to think about, but they were stuck, and so was I. The first clue I got to getting below the neck was at a yoga class. You know that pose at the end of the class? It's called Shavasana. You're just lying there and your body is so quiet and your mind is so clear. And I said, wow, this is really new. If I could just get these young women to do this, maybe they wouldn't need their eating disorder. Because in my experience, most addictions are anxiety-based. Did you know that? And they're usually about feelings that we don't want to feel. I wonder what other feelings are locked in the body that would help me to help my clients better. Well, you know that feeling, that term, I had a gut feeling, or it was heartfelt, or my heart ached. That's it. The feelings are in the body, and the thoughts are in the mind. Yeah, the thoughts are in the mind, and the feelings are in the body. I had a very wise teacher who said one time, intelligence of the mind is the realm of logic, but intelligence of the heart is the realm of emotion. I also noticed that when emotions would get triggered, the body would get triggered before the mind. For example, the research tells us that we have 175 milliseconds between the time an event happens and the time that we're aware that it happens. That's a half of a blink of an eye. And if you don't catch it right away, your body reacts without you even having a say in it. But the good news, again, is the window of opportunity for change is in that gap. For example, let's imagine when you were younger, you were bitten by a dog. And now you're walking down the street and you see a really big dog. You're not standing there saying, oh, there's a dog. Oh, there's a really big dog. Oh, I better get out of the way because it's going to bite me. And if I said to you, don't be scared, do you think that would work? No, of course not. No wonder just talk therapy doesn't always work. Using myself as a guinea pig, I went on a personal, a professional, and a spiritual journey to understand how those hidden parts of us present themselves. I thought if I could do it for myself, I could help my clients better. You know that saying, be careful what you wish for? I had just come home from doing a workshop, and my husband said to me, Tina, sit down. I have some really bad news. Your parents were killed in a car accident. I had been counseling people on the process of grief for years. I thought I knew grief. I didn't know a thing. A few nights later, I was lying in bed, hysterical crying. I could not stop sobbing, and the pain was so intense. I needed something to take away the pain. So I put my hand over my heart, and I breathed into the pain. And after a few moments, that rock that had been lodged in my chest began to release. It was not only a physical release, but I understood at a visceral level how feelings get locked in the body. Changed me and my work forever. Fast forward about 15 years after a very difficult divorce, I moved into my own apartment in Manhattan. And there I was for 2 months, totally liberated. And then another bombshell hit. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had to close my practice on Long Island and make time for radiation, and then eventually open up another practice in Manhattan. I was getting really depressed. And then one night, a friend came over and she said, would you like to go swing dancing at the Cotton Club in Harlem? Yeah, I said. So I'm sitting there, very, very nervous, and this very handsome gentleman came over and said, would you like to dance? And shaking, I said, okay. Relax, he said, as my body started to remember that dance that I learned so long ago. He said, relax, relax. You're good. Just keep dancing. And that's what I did. Every night I went dancing, and every day I went for radiation. And as I was deepening my relationship with my body, my clients were changing as well. My client Patty came in one day and she said, every time he criticizes me, I can feel it in an instant. But instead of chopping his head off, I take a nice deep breath and I tell him how I feel when he talks to me that way. And then another very, very handsome young man, but very dark, always negative. One dark thought after another. And he came in and he said, Tina, how do I know that the way that you look at the world is any better than the way I do? I said, I don't. I just feel better than you. And so what I discovered the hard way, what I was doing was really working. And I want to help as many people as I possibly can. So I train other therapists to do what I do. But you don't have to be a therapist to benefit from this. I'm going to teach you a little mini mantra. For the next time that your body gets triggered again, and it goes like this. Cut, reframe, respond. So cut means stop. Just stop what you're doing. Reframe means notice. Notice the feelings and the sensations that are running through your body. Just like you're editing a movie, frame by frame by frame. Say it with me. Frame by frame by frame. Great, I think you've got it. And then respond. Choose to respond differently. Just like you're editing a movie. And in this way, you stretch out that 175 millisecond gap between the time an event happens and the time that you're aware that it happens. My whole life, I've been on this quest. How do we get to those hidden parts of us under the hood that actually drive our behavior? Now I know. Now you know. And now you have a roadmap. Just remember, cut, reframe, respond. You shift, your child shifts, your boss shifts. Just imagine what the whole world would look like if everybody would just remember to cut, reframe, respond. Thank you.